Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and this week's ukulele lesson is all about developing your lead playing. So as you guys saw and heard in the performance video, AJ has written us a beautiful piece of music. It's got these soaring leads that are set to kind of an 80s vibe soundtrack. It's almost like a song that I would imagine seeing in the movie Top Gun. It's got that kind of like really strong anthem vibe to it, and I love it. I hope you guys dug it too. But as far as a lesson, anytime you're working on lead playing, I think it's way more fun to not do it just as a solo ukulele piece, but to put it to the backdrop of an ensemble. So this piece of music has drums, keyboard, and bass as your backdrop, and it's just so much fun to supply the lead on top of that. Just a great way to approach practicing lead playing. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this lesson. So in this video, which is the part 1 video, we're going to be learning the first half of the tune. So the tune is only 2 melodies. It's an A melody and a B melody. So we'll learn the solo for the A melody in this video. And if you want to learn the second half, the B melody, you can do so by clicking this link or going to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for EP013. That's the lesson number for this lesson. Now, also on that page will be the tabs that you can print off and follow along with, as well as the on-screen tab player. So this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tabs scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a great asset in learning this song that much easier. Now, there is also going to be the backing track that you can download and rock out to. So we're going to do 2 speeds. We'll have 100% speed and 75% speed. So once you learn the solos, you'll be able to play along to that piano, bass, and drum backing track. So let's jump into learning this song. There's a few things that we need to cover before we actually jump into it. So let's start off with that. Now, I've got my low G on deck for teaching this lesson. AJ also performed it on a low G. You can play it on a high G. It only plays on the 4th string like once or twice. So I'll give you a workaround for what to do when that happens, but you can play this one on high or low G. The next thing I want to talk about is our right hand approach for finger picking. If you watch the performance again and you watch AJ play it, he uses his thumb for everything. So anytime he has a single note, anything he's doing, he's pretty much just going a downward pluck with the thumb. So you are more than welcome to do a downward pluck throughout this entire thing with your thumb. What I like to do though is called piccato picking. Basically, if we take the A string, I'm going to alternate pick leading with my middle finger. So it's going to go middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, and so forth. So you can try that with me. To me, it makes it a little bit more efficient to play because I don't have to go down, 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 down. But, you know, it's up to you on which way you want to do. If you want to jump more into piccato picking, I'll link a lesson that we really dove into the mechanics behind it. It's called La Gitanita. It's a flamenco tune. So if you want to jump more into learning that style playing, I'll put that link in the description box below. Now, as far as the techniques required for this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the assumption that you understand pretty much all of the basics. This is not a beginner intro to lead playing. This is more so for the seasoned, intermediate, advanced player. So with that in mind, you have to have hammer-ons and pull-offs down, you got to have slides down, and you have to have a good understanding of timing and rhythm. That's the hardest thing about this song, or playing these leads, is that there is a lot of syncopation, so playing off the beat. Not everything happens on the beat. It's harder when we play off the beat, but there's a lot of sparseness, and that's what you'll see in the first phrase that we learn. So you're just playing a note and you're hanging on it for quite a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, right? So you have just a lot of sparseness. You're not playing, right? So you got to be counting. You got to feel that rhythm. So I'll put a couple links to an introductory lesson to understanding rhythmic notation. So if you're new to counting rhythms while you play, check that out. But honestly, there's no better way to really understand how rhythm and timing connect than by learning to read standard notation. And to do so, you can jump into our reading course. Really is the best way because it eliminates tab and forces you to read the rhythms. So that's the best way to learn. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how we're going to approach learning this song. Now, if you've watched any of my lessons before, you know that I usually teach bar 1, and then we try it together, then I teach bar 2, we try it together, then we do bars 1 through 2, then we do 3, 4, 3 to 4, then we backtrack and do 1 through 4. It doesn't really work that way for this lead playing. Instead, we're going to approach it phrase by phrase. So for example, the first phrase encompasses bars 1 through 5 plus half of bar 6. So it's a really unique way to approach learning it, but it's going to make a lot more sense because it puts the music into context, right? If we were to play bar 1 by itself and just learn that, we would literally have one note. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then if we did bar 2 by itself, we'd have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and right, there's really no frame of context in learning there. So let's do this. Let me play the first phrase. So that's bars 1 through 5 plus half of 6, and you can hear and see how it creates a phrase and gives you a musical context for learning these solos. So jumping into melody A, the first phrase, here we go. This is what it sounds like, then we'll learn it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. So you can probably hear under my breath, I was counting a little bit. I'm also tapping my foot. I've got carpet underneath me, so you're not going to be able to hear the taps. But this whole time through, the key thing for me staying in time and playing this correctly is to be counting and being cognitive of the rhythm. So you have two approaches that you can use as you work through this music. You can either count as you go through. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So you can count and play, or you can play it by ear. Now, when it's this sparse, like in phrase 1, it's a little bit more challenging because you have da, ba da da da. Da, da, ba-da-dum, ba-dum, right? It's a little bit harder, and you can see that if I'm playing it by ear, I still have this motion. I still have the quarter note click in my mind going. That's what helps me keep it on track. When we jump into the next phrases, the notes are more together. They're not so sparse. It's easier to tackle them playing by ear, but I would recommend working on both ways, playing by ear and counting, because if you know the rhythms that you're playing, it takes all the guesswork out of it. You know exactly what to play and when to play it. All right, so let's jump into it. It's actually pretty easy for the first phrase. So we're going to start with just the index finger, and we're going to place it on the 3rd fret of string 1. That's going to last for 4 beats, so we have a whole note. Now, this is going to get tied into measure number 2, and it's going to get held for an extra 2 beats. So here's what we're going to try. We're going to count, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay? So we're going to play from the first measure into the second measure. So let's give that a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So pretty simple so far. Now we have this little pickup melody that happens. Da, 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 da. That's going to take us from the end of 2 into bar 3. So that starts on the end of 3. So we want to practice going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and, right? So we want to have those 3 notes starting on the end of 3. Now those 3 notes are going to be the 3rd fret on string 2, the 5th fret on string 2, and then back to 3 on string 1. You can see that I'm using 1st to the ring to the 1st finger. Okay, so Let's see if we can try this. Let's add the next note, which is the start of measure 3. And it's the same note we began with, just that 3rd fret on string 1. So to put this into the context, this is what you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? And again, if you want to play it by ear, dum, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, ba-da-da-da. Right? You can sing it, you can play it. But very simple stuff so far. Let's give it a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, right? So super easy so far. Now, this first hit in measure 3, that's going to last for 3 beats. And then, guess what? We're going to pluck it again on beat 4. So let's just add that one extra note. So we have from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So you pluck it again on beat 4. Now here's the thing, if you look at the next measure, it's going to linger, so it's a tied note. It's going to get tied into the first half of measure 4. So that means that our next hit starts on beat 3. And you can see that there's a tiny little note. We have this slide, 3 to 5. That slide 3, that 3rd, that's called a grace note. A grace note basically adds flourish to the note. So instead of just starting on 5, we can jazz up that note by having a quick little slide. But the key thing to remember is that this slide happens on beat 3. So if I play into the context of that, you can hear how it starts right on beat 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, slide. That's all on beat 3, so it's a quick slide. So for this slide, I'm going to take my middle finger, I'm going to go 3 to 5 on string 2. Okay? At this point, you're going to hold it out into the 4th beat, and then you're going to do a 16th note. So we have a quick pull off. So keep the middle finger where it's at, 5 on string 2. I want you to take the ring, put it on 6, and do a pull off to 5. And we're going to tie it into the next part. So when you do this pull off, 6 to 5, you're going to slide down to the 3rd fret. Okay? But you're using the middle finger to slide down. So the middle finger slides up, does the pull off, and slides down. So you can think of that as a tiny little phrase in the first phrase. Ba-da-da-da. If we think of it rhythmically, we start on 3, 3, and a 1. And we finish up on beat 1 for the 5th measure. Now, let's backtrack and let's put that into the context. So we have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3. Nice. So this last one is going to last for 3 beats. So you can see on the 4th beat, we have again that little grace note. So it's going to be the 4th fret with the ring finger on the 3rd string. You're going to slide down to the 2nd, and then you're just going to lift up, and you're going to play the open C 2 times. So that's going to lead us into the start of measure 6. That's going to end our first phrase. So we want to start on 4, and we're sliding down, then we pluck, and 1. Okay? And again, this stuff makes a lot more sense when we put it into the context. So the entire first phrase, we have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Nice. So that gives you the entire first phrase. Master that, understand the rhythms before you start to tackle the rest of the tune. Now let's do this. Let's go ahead and play the 2nd phrase. This is going to be continuing on from the latter half of measure 6 into half of measure 10. technically 3/4 of measure 10. So again, funky beginning and ending. So we're not going bar by bar, but again, phrase by phrase. Now this one isn't so sparse. This one is a lot easier to approach playing by ear because everything is a lot closer together in the notes that you're playing. So let me play it, and you'll hear and see exactly how that is. The key thing here to think about is this starts on the end of 3. So it's kind of like that same little pickup, which actually it is the same pickup. So we have that same pickup we saw in measure 2. So keep that in mind. We start on the end of 3. So here's what phrase 2 in its entirety sounds like. 1, 2, 3. So this one's a lot easier to get by ear. Ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da da da. Right, because it's not so sparse. So this one you can sing and play by ear much easier, but we're still going to cover the rhythms because it's really important, especially in one little section. It's a little bit of a tide and sparseness. So let's go ahead and begin, and we begin with what we already know. So we're starting on the end of 3, and it's just going to be the same 3, 5, 3, 3. So the same notes, same little pickup, same rhythm. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, now here's the difference. So on beat 2, you're going to take that ring finger, play 5 on string 2, and then go back to 3 on string 1. You're going to tie into beat 3, so it lingers a little bit long, or lasts a little bit longer. Then you go back to 5, and then we have a slide 5 to 8. So there's a couple ways that you can approach this in terms of fingerings. So you can go all with the ring finger, like I just showed you, or you can go with the middle finger for 5. And that leaves your ring finger in place to do 5 to 8. So try both of those out and pick the one that's most comfortable for you. But again, if we start to recap and we add the timing really slow, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and slide. Okay, let's give that a shot. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and slide. Now this slide, that happened on beat 4, so 5 to 8 was on beat 4. But you're going to hold it into beat 1 for the next measure. Then you're going to pluck it again on beat 2. So that's a really tricky thing. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and slide, pluck. So pay really, really close attention that you are holding that note out for a half note. So beat 4 is the slide, slide, 1, pluck, right? So we have 4, 1, 2, right? So you don't want to rush that. So let's see if we can try that together. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and slide, pluck. Nice. Now to finish it up, you have triplet. We have a quarter note triplet. Now we taught this rhythm in great detail in our strumming technique course. So you check out this course. It teaches the triplet strum and the fan strum. The triplet strum, I think most of us is familiar with. It's a terminology we've all heard. The triplet strum uses eighth note triplets, whereas the fan strum uses quarter note triplets. And the fan strum, as you can see in this measure, is it takes half the measure, so it happens over the span of a half note, right? So it's a little tricky rhythm. If you need a recap of how that rhythm works, jump into that course. That course also teaches you 4 really cool strumming techniques, so you get the double bonus of learning the rhythm and some really cool playing styles. But I'm going to move forward assuming you know what it is. Again, this is a more advanced type of lesson, so we're going to power through with the understanding that you know the rhythm. So we have triplet. So we're going to start this one where we left off. So we left off with that ring finger on the 8th fret of string 1. So we're going to play that as the first hit in the triplet. then take the pinky, play 10. And then for the last part, we can use the index finger, and we're going to do the grace note slide into 7. Triplet. So that's what we end up with. 8, 10 slide. Okay, and let's go ahead and add the last note to complete the phrase. So the middle finger will grab 8 on string 2, and that's going to last for all of measure 9 plus 3 beats in measure 10. So we have triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, done. So again, putting it into context, that's the trick with these phrases and learning these leads. Starting from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and slide, 2, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, done. So that's everything put together. So what you want to do is just hit pause on this video. You can backtrack, you can practice that over and over again. But if you are a premium member on Rock Class 101, you do get the access to that tab player, so you can literally highlight this phrase and you can loop it, slow it down at any speed. That's going to be the best way to learn this solo. Okay, so we've got the first 2 phrases put together. If I play through that, just to give you a context of how far we are in the music, this is what everything sounds like together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Nice. So that gives us a good context of everything put together thus far. So let's go ahead and jump into the third theme. Now the third theme is going to start at the end of 10 and carry on to the first 3/4 of measure 12. So again, kind of an awkward measurings that we're playing out of. But this one I think is actually the easiest phrase to play by ear. So it sounds like this. Okay, so very simple. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. So let's jump into learning it. Very simple. So we're starting at the end of 10. We start on beat 4. So we have 4 and. So we're just going to walk up on string 2. 3, 5. Use your pinky to grab 6. So this one we're going to hit a few times. So we have 3, 5, 6, 6, 6, 3, 6, slide. So let's cover that. 3, 5, 6, 6, 6. Then you see you can hold the last 6 into beat 3, drop the index down, grab the 3rd fret, and go back to 6 with the pinky. And then we're going to slide middle finger 4 to 5. So backtrack. 3, 5, 6, 6, 6, 3, 6, slide. If we think of it from the rhythm, 1, 2, 3. 4 and 1, 2 and 4 and. Okay, let's give that a shot. 1, 2, 3. Nice. So you're holding this last slide into the first beat of the next measure. That means that we start on the end of 1, so drop with the index finger to the 3rd fret, and then you're going to use the ring finger to play 5 on string 3. That's going to end it. And again, putting it into the context makes a lot more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. Let's give it a shot. 2, 3. Oop, actually, let's start on 1. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now this last hit, this is going to last for beat 2 and beat 3. That means that our next phrase, phrase number 4, starts on beat 4. Okay, so here's what this next phrase sounds like. So again, a really easy one to sing and play. La da da dum ba da 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 da. But it does have some sparseness, so let's approach it by counting as well. So starting on beat 4, we're going to do a hammer-on. We're going to go 3 to 5 on string 2. then back to back to the index finger. So we have hammer, and then back to the index. Now here's the tricky thing. This note is going to linger or tie into the first beat of the next measure. So when you're doing this, you want to be thinking 4 end, 2 end. You want to be thinking that you're playing on 4 end, then you're playing on 2 end. So 4 end, 2 end. So you can hear how it lasts in between those two little phrases. So you have hammer, slide down. So what's that slide down? It's going to be the middle finger going 4 to 2 and then hitting the open. And of course you can see it's the little grace note. 4 and slide O. Okay, let's see if we can try that together, starting on beat 4. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 2 end. And you can see the end of 2 gets tied into beat 3. Then we're going to do a partial bar. So lay your index finger flat on the 3rd fret, strings 1 and 2. We're just going to bounce between those two notes. So 2nd, 1st, 2nd. Then we're going to walk a melody up on the 1st string. Okay? So keeping with it laying flat, the index finger, you're going to use the middle finger for 5 and your pinky for 7. So you have 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 7. But look at the rhythm. And 4 and 1 and 2. So it's a little bit tricky in that regard because we have this busy rhythm that was preceded by a bit of sparseness, right? So it's a nice contrast. And again, if we put it together, the phrase makes more sense. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2, right? So sparse, busy. Let's try together. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now this last hit on Sev, that's going to last into beat 3. So our next phrase starts on the end of 3 in this 14th measure. And this next phrase is our last phrase for the A melody. Sounds like this. Okay, and I played into the first slide for the B melody. But this one, again, is one you can sing 1, 2, 3. Da 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 ba ba da da da. Okay, so very catchy one. A lot of triplets happening in this. So we're starting by moving our hand up. So we have to think about where we left off. We left off with this partial bar, ring, and middle. So we're just going to move the hand up, use the index to play 5, and then the ring to play 7, and then pinky to play 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... So all eighths, very simple. Keep the pinky on 8. So we're going to do an entire bar of triplet. Triplet, triplet, slide. So you're going to do 6 hits on 8. 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slide up to 10. Okay? If you put it into context, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and triplet, triplet, slide. Okay? Look at how long that lasts. That lasts for a beat and a half. So you're going to hit on the end of 2, and then you're going to finish it up with a triplet. 10, 8, 7. So you can walk your way back down. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and triplet, triplet, slide, and triplet. Okay? So those fingers to end it, you can go, of course you left off on pinky, so you want to start with pinky. 10, middle can play 8, index can play 7. Okay? So let's try it together. The context of this makes a lot more sense. Just keep the triplets in mind. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and triplet, triplet, slide, and triplet. Nice. So that's going to conclude the whole A melody. If I play through it, it'll give us a context of everything we've learned. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. So that gives us a good context of what everything sounds like put together. And of course, when you play with the backing track, it's a lot easier to feel the beats because you got the drums and the bass providing that rhythm section, and you got the harmony laid down by the keys, which helps keep you in check with the chord changes. And yeah, it's so much fun when you put it to the music. So that's going to be everything for this lesson, guys. When we kick into the B melody, things get a little bit more fancy, especially towards the end of it. So we're going to be showing off a little bit and kind of soft shredding, I think I would call it. But it's got some really cool bluesy licks, really fun to play, and a great way to kind of develop this solo and kind of kick it up a notch. So if you want to watch the part 2 lesson, you can do so by clicking this link or going to the site rockclass101.com and doing a search for EP013. If I say it again, EP013, that's the lesson number for this lesson. Don't forget, on that page are the tabs that you can download, print off, keep for your records, the on-screen tab viewer, so that really cool interactive tab player, so you can literally highlight the phrases that we've learned, and you can tackle one at a time. You can slow it down to any speed you wish. Just an awesome way to loop it and learn it easier. And of course, the backing tracks will have 100% speed and 75% speed, so you can download both of those and rock out to the band at home once you get the solos down. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the part 2 one. Take care.